Welcome to the Division 8 meeting for April 18th, 2020. A little bit different, obviously. I'm not going to go through all the wherefores and so forth. We all have been watching the news. We know what the governors and so forth are saying about it. We know what the news folks are saying. We know why we're doing this. As I said a couple minutes ago, if you're expecting this meeting to be perfect, you are in the wrong meeting. But it is a way for us to get back together and share some information about the vision and so forth, and bring at least a little bit of normalcy back to our lives. If you're anything like me, being a typical model railroader, I was somewhat prepared for this. I had my, you can almost see that, but not quite. My screen is weird because I got that background on there. But I had my 70% isopropyl alcohol to wipe things down because, I'm getting ready to lay ballast. I had my gloves in hand here. Maybe you can see those, maybe you can't, because, I'm working with paint and so forth. And of course, because we occasionally do some spray painting around, I have my protective mask. And of course, I had my hand sanitizer and Clorox hanging around for spills and so forth that we had. So hopefully you're in good shape. I've heard from a couple folks that they're surviving pretty well and making it through things and so forth. I know we've had a few folks in the hospital, and we'll put some of that in the pie card for you guys to know about as well. So before we get going too far here, this is, of course, the call to order. We decided to go ahead and leave the video on. Originally, I was going to have the video disabled, but we'll go ahead and leave the video on for right now. If it becomes a problem, we'll stop the video for everybody. In fact, we'll disable it for everybody on the next meeting if we have a problem. I don't think we're going to have a problem. Everybody in here is going to play nice. You're not going to do anything rude and so forth. So we'll just move along with that. The only person I'm worried about is Barbara, and I got her within arm's reach almost. So if she misbehaves, I can take care of that one. Again, I disabled the audio for everybody. Please leave it off unless you have unless you have a speaking part in here. As we go through, Ron is monitoring chat for us. So if you have a question, post it into chat. That's going to be the best way for us to do things. When we get to Bob Dawson's presentation after the meeting itself, we're going to ask you to post the questions into chat. Ron will monitor that, and then at the end of Bob's presentation, he's going to take questions at that time, and we may turn on the audio at that time. We'll see how it goes. When we get to the meeting minutes and the treasurer's report, we're going to ask you to post if you want to make a motion to approve or to second it, post that into the chat, and then I've got a poll that we're going to run at that point, and we'll vote through the poll. It works out pretty well doing that. I think I mentioned before, we're going to do about a 5-minute break between the business meeting and Bob Dawson's presentation. That'll give you a chance to go do a bio break, whatever you need to do for a few minutes, and it'll give a chance for me to shut down my presentation and for Bob to start up his. But I'll put a little timer on it, and we'll take about 5 minutes to do that. Everything today is being recorded. So the meeting is being recorded, the presentation is being recorded, and so is the chat. So as I said, don't do something rude. It's being recorded. We will put the meeting and the presentation online in YouTube, and we'll put those links through the groups.io and eventually through our Facebook page as well. So there we go. Moving right along, if you haven't already looked at this, and I think most of you already have. I know a couple people said, wow, really thanks to Paul Downs for creating this document. It was a great document for the folks who've never done Zoom. There are a few things on the bottom, so take a look at that, and it may help you get in there and see what's going on. Okay. All right. So first up on the official agenda, welcome to new members and guests. New members for March 2020, Kathleen Kugler, yay! Gary Bennett, Joseph Legel, and then for April of 2020, Michael Willinger, Rebecca Kroll, and Roberto Pene Casanova. And I don't know if any of those folks joined the meeting this time, other than I know Kathy's probably looking over Bob Kugler's shoulder to make sure he's not getting out of hand. I know how that works in that household. And then visitors, we have Bob Weinheimer on the call. And I don't know, let me unmute you real quick. Bob, did you want to say anything at all as the MCR president?
Well, I just wanted to make sure that Fred got the communication from National about the youth programs, and make sure that the other officers and the members in the region or in the division are well aware of that if it pertains to you.
Why don't you go ahead and speak to that real quick?
The NMRA is a new policy that you cannot really have any youth programs. The common one is to sponsor the Boy Scouts with the Merit Badge program. You can no longer do that. It's a liability issue, major liability issue. And the way to handle that now is if the Boy Scouts want help from us, they can talk to Fred. Fred can say, hey, they need some help. Individual members can then contact the Boy Scouts and do it as individual members, but the divisions and regions cannot do that anymore. Train shows are not a problem. That was clarified yesterday. So, but the youth programs of that sort. Now, if you have any other youth members who come to your meetings, they must be accompanied by a parent who must keep eyes on the member at all times. And if not a parent, then a guardian with a notarized letter from the parent saying it's okay. It's our day and age.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, Bob.
And the other thing is the region convention, of course, finally bit the dust. That was no surprise, unfortunately. I made the decision to let them try again in 2023. I'll ask the board to confirm that at the next board meeting.
Yep. Thank you, sir. All right, moving right along. I think I muted you. I think I did. All right. Minutes from last meeting. I know that everybody looked at the minutes online and are ready to approve those. So I would ask for a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting as posted online. Ron, do we have somebody who said that they would?
Not yet, Fred.
We do, and a second?
There we go.
All righty. So what I'm going to do is launch this poll, and it's very easy for you to do. Either click yes or no to approve the Division 8 meeting minutes as posted to the Division 8 website, and I'll let that stay up there for maybe about 5 or 10 seconds. And I already know what the answer is going to be. We're going to get at least one no, of course. I knew we would. But for the most part, we've got yes, and that's been up there for 25 seconds, and I think that's long enough. All right, so I'm going to end the polling, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what the results look like. So
who was the second on the minutes?
What was that?
Who was the second on the minutes?
Eric.
Okay, I have Eric. Okay, who made the motion? Tom. Okay.
Yep.
No.
Somewhere along the line, I missed that on the chat.
Okay. Joe Fields is up. He has a couple things here. Most of this, not all of this, but most of this you've already heard or read either in the pie card or on the Facebook page. I will tell you that once we get back together, we will do, handoffs and handshakes, hopefully, and formal acknowledgments. But we wanted to go ahead and make mention of some things right now. Joe, you're on.
Okay. Just want to offer again, congratulations. Like Fred just said, you've seen this posted in the pie card and on Facebook, so forth like that. But congratulations to Chris Broughton, Master Model Railroader number 650. And then Bob Kukler, Master Model Railroader number 653. Congratulations to both these fellows. You can see their categories that they worked on and so forth like that. And I think that was posted in the pie card or on Facebook too. And I'll be receiving my civil model, Model Railroad Engineer Civil, whenever we get back together. So that gave me number 5. And I've just finished up my last piece of motive power for my 3 that I had to build for motive power category. I just have to eventually get them judged whenever that happens to take place. And I want to encourage people to still keep emailing me or telephoning me, whatever like that, about questions you might have. If it's like author or some of those different categories like that, you can send me your paperwork and I can look it over. It doesn't have, because those things don't have to be judged. You're kind of on your own on them as far as getting the stuff done. And of course, physically judging anything's kind of on the halt right at the moment. But other than that, as everybody keeps saying, we're going to get through this, and eventually we'll be able back to normal, whatever that happens to be in your state of mind.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
This is Bob. I'd like to offer my congratulations to Chris and to Bob on MMR. I think I was supposed to have been there today to hand things out, but it didn't work.
You were supposed to be here last month.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, whenever.
And then this month
it'll work. But congratulations, guys.
Thank you, sir. And I will tell you that on Joe's stuff, Joe has been feeding those pictures to me and his progress, and it's pretty impressive what he's doing with cardboard, for crying out loud, and other materials. I've passed those pictures and some of the commentary on to Ron Ellison. He's going to put a slideshow together on Facebook, so you'll be able to see it there. It's going off to Bob Dawson to go in the pie card as well, and we'll probably post some of that in the group's IO email group as well. So cool stuff. And again, as Joe said, if you're working on stuff, keep in contact with Joe. Most of it right now, we're not going to try and not even going to think about trying to judge it until we're allowed to be face-to-face meetings. But you can certainly work on paperwork, get that knocked out. Everybody says that's the hard part. Do it now. Barry Christensen could not be with us this month, and he told me that back in January, February. Bob Kugler was actually going to run the contest this month, and I think next month as well. We're not having a contest. We didn't have a contest, and we're not going to have a contest. So that covers March, April, May. But Barry asked me to share, sorry you couldn't be with us and so forth. And instead of trying to do a catch-up, we're not going to. We're not going to try and have March, April, May, and June. In June, if we can do a June meeting. We're just not going to try and do that. That's crazy. So basically, we're going to take whoever was at the lead at the end of February, and then we'll add June if we get to do a June meeting, and that will be the results for this contest year. If we don't get to do a June meeting, we won't do a June contest, and that means whoever was leading at the end of February leads at the end of this contest year. It's kind of like the Indy 500 either gets rained out or there's a huge accident at the end of the race. You know what? They didn't run 500 miles, they ran 400 miles or 430 miles, whatever it is. Same sort of thing here. And then we'll just start anew in August as we always have before. Because we're not doing a May contest, I had a thought that maybe what we might be able to do is a show and tell by photos. So not a contest at all. One of the reasons we don't want to do a virtual contest, and we thought about this, and we just haven't come up with a good answer, but one of the reasons is because we have some folks who are great modelers, but they either don't have a good camera that they could take quality pictures with, or they don't have a way to easily share those photos. There are just too many roadblocks for some folks. And, let's level the playing field here, not do the May contest, but send me your photos of a caboose you would have entered or a caboose you find interesting or something, and we'll put those into a slideshow and perhaps be able to share that. Okay, but not for points. June, of course, if I can get my computer going in, thank you. June, of course, is supposed to be open loads. I know Mr. Frank Rowan is all excited about that, as always, that we're going to have open loads, and hopefully we will be able to meet in June when we do that. As I said, if not, we'll back up, regroup, and go forward from there. Speaking of Mr. Frank Rowan, he has a couple things that he wants to share with you. And Bob, I'm just going to turn it right over to you instead of doing a preamble.
Thank you, Fred. As many of you know, early March, we sent out a survey regarding our monthly model contest. There were some issues that people had raised and some concerns. And so we sent out a survey to every Division 8 member, 135 or so. We received a 30% response, which, considering the general surveys average less than 20%, 30%, while it may seem low, is actually pretty good. So of the 30% who responded, overwhelmingly 75% said they like the contest the way it is, do not change it. So that being said, we also looked at the comments that people provided. There were several positive suggestions, such as broaden some of the categories, allow more time to vote, things like that. There weren't too many negative comments, which I viewed as a very good thing. So the action that we took is we looked at the comments, and without changing the crux of the contest, we made some enhancements, and I'll talk about those in just a moment. And what we also did is we posted the rules on the website. What was previously posted wasn't so much the rules of the contest as a description on how it was judged or how it was awarded points for the year-end prize. So we looked at that, and based on how the contest operates, we drafted and clarified a better set of rules, and those are now posted on the Division8 website. So the enhancements that we made, we had several suggestions that you should broaden a couple of the categories. So we took that to heart. There are 3 categories that we've enhanced. The diesel category, which I think is a February contest, we're going to change the category name from diesel to non-steam motive power. The maintenance of way category will be changed to include maintenance of way and highway vehicles. And the photo category is going to be split for model photo and prototype photo. So essentially, it'll be 2 contests that particular month. It's a little bit extra work on Barry and whatever contest help he has, but we had several comments that they thought the category should be split, so we did. We're going to allow more time to view and vote on the entries. That was, several people suggested that because now people are writing up some pretty lengthy how they achieved what they achieved, and people want to study those, and they'd like to look at, and because we're having a lot of entries these days, 7, 8, 9, 10 entries, people want to take time to study them. So the extra time, I think if you read the April pie card, you know that Fred has taken some initiatives to shorten the meeting. And by doing so, that will allow more time between the end of the meeting and the start of the program for people to study the contest entries, to view them, and to vote, and also to socialize and partake in some of the refreshments. We are going to continue to allow, and this has always been the case, maybe it was never emphasized very much, but to have display only. Anything you want to bring to the contest for display, not to be voted on, you know, that's fine, bring it. Understand that the intent of the contest was to bring model railroad related items to an otherwise sterile environment. And then we looked at this and we said, hey, it kind of goes without saying, but we put it down here anyway. The contest entry must be owned by the entrant. That doesn't mean you had to do the work. What it means is you have to have either bought it, somebody gave it to you, you own it. It's not you're going to go out to some really good modeler and say, let me borrow this. I want to enter it into the contest, and as soon as I win or lose, I'll give it back to you. So anyway, we just thought it was important that we state that. So the bottom line is you can now refer to a complete set of rules with criteria for how points are awarded on the website. We did not change the context, the basics of it. It's still going to be popular vote, still going to bring, you don't have to, anything you want to bring, you could have bought it at a swap meet, somebody else could have done it, it doesn't matter. We're not competing with the achievement program, it's a total separate entity. So, but we thought that the enhancements would be, again, a way to improve the overall contest. And that's it.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to ask, are there any questions at all for Bob Frankrome before we move on? If you have some, go ahead and type them in the chat. And even if you think about them later, we'll, Ron, as I said, is monitoring chat, and we'll take a look and ask those questions at the end of the meeting. And you know what? We've got groups.io. You can always ask any questions in there as well after the meeting. Okay, I don't see any questions in chat, so I'm going to move along. Ron Ellison, you're up, sir.
Company store. We just want to point out that we now accept credit cards for your orders of any kind. You know, we invested in the Square credit card system right before the train show and sale in March. Never got to use it, but it's kind of handy for this type of thing. So we'll be happy to accept your credit card. If you want to buy something, you can contact us via Groups.io or the Division8 Gmail account. We'll create an invoice, email it to you, and then we'll process your credit card via our virtual terminal. When we meet together again, we'll have the actual Square processor with us, and we can just do it right on site there without any security issues. And we do have some, as the slide shows here, we do have some items in stock ready to ship. We ship them via the U.S. Post Office if you want to pay the freight, or we can hang on to them until we meet face to face again or make other arrangements.
Thanks, Ron. All righty. I'm up next, and unfortunately the picnic this year is, well, the picnic's not canceled, but Indiana Live Steamers is canceled. Most of the people on the call I know today have already been in and looked at that email that I posted late yesterday about this, but a real quick synopsis. Indiana Live Steamers canceled the event on us, but they've also canceled the event for every other group that wants to have something at their location this summer. Partly due to COVID-19, partly due to their insurance as well. So it's not going to happen until October or later, and ain't nobody going to go into the middle of Indiana and ride a train in October, November. So it's not going to happen this year. Take a look at the email in Groups.io. We've gotten some really good suggestions. My fault, I didn't say we were trying to keep it within an hour, but good suggestions, notwithstanding that. Go ahead and please be a part of that conversation. We're not going to try and make a decision today. The board is meeting next Thursday night. We will talk about it. We probably won't make a decision then either, because there's no huge hurry to it. We've got to make a decision in time to make sure we've got a reservation somewhere, make sure we've got a caterer on board, get a flyer out there to get reservations from everybody. We know we've got to do that, but we're thinking probably August, maybe even late August, and definitely some other venue. And again, take a look at that email, reply in Groups.io, be part of that conversation, and to help us make a good decision about where to do this picnic. That's all I'm really going to say. And I actually posted this out there also. This is the Facebook post that they put out there, so you can see what they were saying. No rides, private parties, and so on and so forth. All right, moving right along. Some of the alternatives we talked about so far: Bluegrass Road Museum, KRM, local restaurant, Salem Depot. But y'all are smarter than I am. I know you know of some other places that are within a reasonable drive of Louisville for folks to participate in something like this. And especially call out Philip Johnson because he mentioned going down to Ravenna and the museum in
Bowling Green.
Bowling Green, thank you. In Bowling Green. Great ideas. A little bit far for the picnic because it's more than an hour away. And just, talking to people, that's a little far to drive for, an hour-long picnic, 2 hours out and 2 hours back. But I think we might be able to put a springtime road show or road trip together for one or the other of those. I think it's a good opportunity for us to look at going forward. So appreciate the thoughts, appreciate the ideas. Really like to hear some more and be good stuff. All right. Wow. Canceled, but new. If you didn't know about the NMRA-X virtual Facebook convention, you didn't read the email that I posted about it in Groups.io, and you didn't see the Facebook page. Take a look at that. There are a couple other things in here that are still scheduled. Bob Weinheimer and I have talked a little bit about the St. Louis prototype model meet, the RPM meet, still scheduled as of today. There's the National Dairy Gauge Convention, of course, in St. Louis, and train days and Division8 train show and sale. And none of us know what the future holds as far as being able to do these. but take a look at those on your calendar. Certainly, the NMRA-X virtual Facebook convention is possible for you to attend. Now, you got to be on Facebook, so if you're anti-Facebook, refuse to participate in Facebook, that's not an option for you. And I'm not criticizing you, I'm just saying it's not an option. Sorry about that. But if you're willing to do Facebook, go check this out. We have it shared onto my personal Facebook page and also onto the Division 8 page. So you'll find a link there and you can click into there and take part in this thing. A lot of people from around the world are presenting. I don't know of all the groups because I'm not part of the organizing committee. The last one that I heard was going to join in there was Fast Track. They're going to do at least one, perhaps two demonstrations on how to use their tools. And I know there are a lot of others from around the world as well. I think Luke Townsend and a couple other folks. So good thing, take a look at it. Might be something for you to check into. Program topic in next month. Today, of course, is Bob Dawson. Yay, the Arbugus Street branch, a railroad you can model. I don't have any of Barbara's chocolate chip cookies down here, so I can't tempt you with one of those. Sorry about that. Refreshments are on your own, of course, this month and next month. You're not going to even think about doing a face-to-face meeting next month. Even if we're released with the age of our group and so forth, it doesn't make sense to even try and do that for us. So we're gonna just go ahead today and say, we're not gonna do a May face-to-face meeting, we'll do a Zoom virtual meeting. And Mike Berry has agreed to go ahead and do his Arduino's presentation, Arduino's Part 2. And his lovely assistant is going to be his camera operator. So we'll see how Teresa does with the camera. I'm sure she'll be great. I've seen some of the vacation photos she does. I know she'll be great doing that. And we're, of course, canceling home layouts through at least August. The other part of the Zoom thing is the division did purchase the Zoom license. We bought the lowest end of it. We took a look and said, you know what? There's 3 months we're not meeting, that we're not paying for refreshments. There's 3 months we're not handing out a $10 gift card for the door prize drawing at the meeting. That more than pays for the Zoom license for an entire year. So, you know, it's a no loss as far as that goes. So we didn't feel too bad about paying for that. It allows us to do this. It allows us for the board to meet. We think that even after we get to do face-to-face meetings, we're going to go ahead and broadcast the meeting using the Zoom application as well, so that people can tune in and watch the meeting while it's live, whether they're on the road or they're at home, you know, somewhere. Maybe they're at the lake house, Tom Gunther, and just don't want to come into Louisville for that meeting, or whatever it happens to be. It'll be a good thing. We're also talking, we haven't decided about this, but a couple of us are talking about maybe doing another not official Division 8 meeting on another Saturday during the month, but maybe hey, get together and share what you're doing, have your video rolling, and you know, bring that piece of whatever it is you're working on. You know, show us that hand laid track that you did or something, whatever. So we're thinking about that. We'll probably post something in the next couple of days in the groups.io, and y'all can tell us what you think about that as well. All right, so staying connected. We got the Zoom meeting going today. Again, we're going to continue to use that. We've got 3 different things out there. We're trying to communicate to people and let you know what's going on. We've got this new group that we know. Thank goodness the board decided to do this and get rolling with it back in February before any of this virus stuff happened. So we were already prepped and ready to roll it out. It makes it so nice to have that 2-way communication instead of just a broadcast email that just sits there and no way to reply. The Facebook page, of course, and of course the website. Groups.io, of course, you can do that on your email, within your email client, or you can go to the page itself, the site, excuse me, itself, and there's a lot in there as well. You can do chat. There is a directory, calendar, and photos and so forth, and some files. And of course, the Facebook page, Groups.io, we're trying to post something every day, at least once or twice. And I think most of you have seen the Division 4 email blast that I'm forwarding out to you with some comments. Haven't heard anybody say they don't like it. And until I do, I'm going to continue to do that by adding a few comments. If I hear some folks say, you know, that's too many emails, then I'll back off on it. But for right now, I think with the lockdown, I think it's a great thing to be able to do that. It gives you something else to look at other than, you know, the tube. Facebook page, we try and post something at least once a day. And of course, you can respond there as well. And of course, the Division8 website, we try and keep it up to date. It is the most static of the three. So in order, if you want to keep up to date, most up to date, the email group, groups.io. Second would be Facebook. And of course, last would be website. But website's nice for saying, are we really having a meeting? What's the schedule for this? And so on and so forth. All right. That actually concludes the formal part of the meeting. As promised, one of the things we're going to start doing is a back to basics presentation. I'm going to do one today, but it's not going to be what I usually do for back to basics. Instead, I just want to give a quick overview on it so everybody knows what's going on. The concept is after the general membership meeting finishes, we'll take 5 minutes and not more than 5 minutes. At the 5-minute point, the orchestra starts playing, the hook comes out, and whoever's doing the presentation, which of course at the beginning is going to be me, is off the stage. It will not be more than 5 minutes long. Talking about some prototype or model railroad topic that the presenter or someone else who's made a suggestion feels that would be of interest, but it's something very basic. Something that we believe that people may not know about, or better yet, something that someone new to the hobby probably doesn't know or doesn't know the details about, okay? And maybe it just fills in the blanks in everyone's knowledge. So some of the topics that have been suggested and that I'm going to do over the first few months, coupler types, prototype coupler types. You think, well, they're just knuckle couplers. No, they're not. There are a lot of different types of couplers. And if we just talk about the US, it could be an hour-long presentation. We talk about worldwide, we could do hours, 5 minutes. So it's going to be at a very, very high level, not diving deep into the weeds. How about coupler types, model coupler types? Barbara's a great sounding board for when she picks up the car and says, how come these couplers look different? I say, oh, that's a horn hook coupler. She gives me that look. Horn hook, what are you talking about? And I go, oh man, oh yeah, horn hook. You wouldn't know about that because you didn't grow up in that area. You didn't know those things. We'll talk about, basic things. Horn hook couplers, sergeant couplers, Katie couplers, McHenry couplers, just the basics to get people to have a little bit of idea. And you can see some of the other things in here as well. But that's the basic concept. Again, a 5-minute little talk, very high level. People who don't have a clue will go, oh, that's what those people are talking about. And some of these things are going to be talking about because, hey, a newbie is going, I don't know what that means, but I'm afraid to ask the question because they're going to make fun of me, so I'm not going to ask the question. So there you go. Alrighty, if you have suggestions, you know the answer, right? Post it into groups.io and let me know, okay? Or you got my phone number, you got my email. Holler at me directly if you want to as well. All right, that, quite honestly, concludes the business or membership part of the meeting.